Assalamualaikum. Hi, my name is Muhammad Syami bin Zamri. My student ID is 2021-819-226. Today, in this part, I will tell a little bit about background of this country. The Russian Federation, often known as Russia, is a country located in Northern Asia and Eastern Europe. With 145.8 million people, Russia is the 9th most populated country in the world as of 2021. The Russian Federation, which is larger than the contiguous United States by more than 2 times, thought more than 60% of Russia's territory is covered in permafrost, which is permanently frozen and useless for cultivation. The bulk of it is unoccupied or inhospitable. Russia is also the biggest country in the world by area, with a population of 147.2 million as of the 2021 census, or 144.7 million excluding Crimea and Sevastopol, up from 142.8 million in the 2010 census. Russia is a diversified country with residents from over 193 distinct ethnic groups. The majority of Russians, or more than 4 in 5, are of Eastern European descent. The third largest immigrant population in the world resides in Russia.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Noakila Maisara binti Ahmad Sawal. My ID number is 2021856976. Based on the graph shown on inflation rate for Russia, it shows an irregular trend from year 2012 until 2021 throughout these 10 years. In the year 2015, it shows that the inflation rate is the highest throughout this 10 years period time. The difference percentage is largely wide than the previous year. Since 2012 until 2015, the trend of inflation rate showing increasing. Right after the year 2015, the inflation rate massively dropped more than half percentage of 2015 inflation rate. After on since 2016 until 2021, showing the trend increase. Next, the issue related to the analysis of inflation in country of Russia. The crisis between Russia and Ukraine became the main issue in the country's inflation problem. The media stated that this crisis affects all countries, including Russia, because Russia involved in the crisis with Ukraine. The problem of inflation occurs because during the crisis, it takes a lot of money to buy a weapon for the war. Not only that, after the crisis ends, the country needs to improve the country better, which requires a lot of money. This causes an increase in supply price in the market. In addition, due to the high depreciation of the ruble as a result of the economic sanctions imposed on Russia due to aggression on Ukraine, the Bank of Russia raised the rate. Second issue is inflation caused by demand, such as demand pull inflation is caused by an imbalance in amount of demand and supply of goods and services in Russia. When the Russian society reach full employment, it will cause the people to earn a lot of money on themselves, thus increasing demand, so it will cause the issue of inflation in the country.
What are the causes of inflation in Russia? So, one of the first reasons is called the world drought. Without any doubt that almost the whole world has suffered from it. Many farms in Russia have suffered losses from drought, and most likely they will need state subsidies. In year 2018, the grain harvest was 77 million tons, which is 50 million less as compared than last year. This means that the price for grain will rise, followed by bread and meat. Therefore, it is unlikely that we will see the government be able to curb the rise in food prices. Next is important component with a purely Russian origin is the monopolization of the product market in Russia. The food market is the most competitive with the most flexible prices. For us, it seems that the market is just a small monopoly, where the prices does not vary, changes so much that does not smell any competition among them. But then there is a market owner where all prices are agreed with him. It is hard to neglect the energy resources market, which commits the same errors. The government may use administrative, where they have to tighten the control in this sector, but this action will lead to a negative influence in the energy market, which will slow down the economy. Other than that, the corruption component of each product also impossible to not include in this cost. Experts from Transparency International examine the components of the price of milk, a popular and widely available product in the market. Turns out that the price of milk bribes, kickbacks, and other payments amount to 30% only, where apparently the other products that we purchase in this sense do not differ much from milk. Lastly, the reasons for which lie in irrational spending of budget funds. The government decided to use most of the budget funds at the end of the year, where it is very difficult to really use the money in that short amount of time. This action will lead to inflationary consequences.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Puteri Adila binti Megat Nordin. My student ID number is 2021615964 and I am from MBA 1113F. According to the graphic for Russia's unemployment data, which spanned the years 2012 through 2021, the country's unemployment rate is erratic. The percentage of unemployed Russians has changed but not much. Compared to the year before and the year after, the greatest unemployment rate was recorded in 2020 at 5.59%. The lowest unemployment rate on record was only 4.5% in 2019.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Alishmar Monteiro and my matrix number is 2021822078. First issue related to unemployment is rely heavily on being integrated into the world economy. Of course, unemployment in Russia is highly dependent not only on foreign companies, but also on integration into the global economy. Western sanctions indirectly endanger even the workers of local businesses. According to Russian officials, the employment status of 95,000 workers moved to standby as early as March. In February, 3 million Russians lost their jobs. A further 2 million jobs are at risk this year. According to a report by the Center for Strategy Studies, a Moscow think tank, the livelihoods of workers in existing firms now depend on the fortunes of those firms. Renault's Moscow factory, for example, is still in operation by the government, which plans to nationalize the factory and use it to build the Soviet-era Boxy Moskvich. Second is Russia focus in a few sectors. Meanwhile, McDonald's has yet to find a local buyer for its restaurant. Companies like Spotify, which closed its Russian office, have no businesses to resell to Russian buyers. Other employees find themselves in a sort of professional dead end. Clothing giant Zara has closed its operation in Russia, leaving employees on 2/3 of his salary for now. We don't know how long this instability will last. Sanctions against Russia could continue even after the war is over, blocking Russia from the rest of the global economy. Also, the Russian economy is concentrated in a few sectors, such as oil and gas, mining, and certain types of manufacturing. So there are not enough companies to absorb a diverse workforce unless companies like Zara and Renault make a comeback soon. The job crisis will be at the center of the Russian economy as it collapses.
The term unemployment is frequently misunderstood because it includes people who are waiting to find work after being discharged, but excludes people who have stopped looking for work in the last 4 weeks for a variety of reasons, including retirement, disability, personal issues, and leaving a job to pursue higher education. There are 4 types of unemployment, which are frictional unemployment, structural unemployment, cyclical unemployment, and seasonal unemployment. Firstly, frictional unemployment can occur as a result of shifts in voluntary employment in the economy and is also considered a component of natural unemployment. As an example, a worker who recently quit their job or was fired and is looking for jobs in a healthy economy. Since employees are typically looking for employment that best suits their skills, it is not a bad thing. Secondly, structural unemployment. Long-term unemployment, known as structural unemployment, is brought on by basic changes in an economy and made worse by unrelated elements like technology, rivalry, and public policy. Workers who lack the necessary abilities for the job or who reside too far from the areas where opportunities are available and are unable to relocate and considered structurally unemployed. As an example, a teaching position can entail relocation to China, but certain visa restrictions make it impossible for the employee to obtain a work visa. It can also occur when a technical advancement in the company eliminates the need for human labor, such as workflow automation. The next type of unemployment is cyclical unemployment. Cyclical unemployment is a concept that explains job loss due to an economic contraction or slow period of economic growth. Economists use this term to recognize the rise and fall of business productivity in a cycle instead of a linear phenomenon. Unemployment typically rises during recessions and declines during economic expansions. To mitigate the impact of cyclical unemployment on the economy, governments might employ various policy tools such as stimulus package to encourage economic growth during a recession. The last type of unemployment is seasonal unemployment. Seasonal unemployment is when people who work in seasonal jobs become unemployed when demand for labor decreases. This usually happens when a certain season ends or a new one begins for a holiday or because of weather changes. For example, when the fall comes and the summer facilities have to close, someone who works at a resort during the summer can encounter unemployment.